I'm sitting here watching all these people. I'm not perfect. I boast about that. I am not perfect, not by any means. I have massive flaws, and it doesn't bother me for people to point out that I make mistakes, because I own those mistakes, and I think I've proven that to everybody. My point with this is that I had to look myself in the mirror and see, while I was sitting here pointing fingers at everybody else, what was I doing that was imperfect? Before I started looking at other people and what they were doing, the only thing that made me look at what other people were doing and started pointing a finger at folks was the fact that they were falsely accusing me. I'm not trying to be funny or not get out of taking responsibility, because, again, I am not perfect by any means. However, when you've got people with logs in their eyes while I'm sitting here with a splinter in mine, trying to tell me what's right and wrong about me and my situation, but they're sitting over here with all of this stuff that they fail to address in their own lives, that's somebody who's a hypocrite. And until you look at your own self in the mirror and start to work on your own flaws, don't come back at me, because I'm just going to point yours out. And I'm not trying to be mean or nasty or anything, but sometimes you have to be that vocal with somebody who's trying to accuse you, who's doing 10 times worse, in order to get them to stop. We have to see that there's a lot of that going on in our country right now. So how about we use this time where people are having all of this stuff going on and try to have some self-reflection and see what you can do for yourself before you start negatively focusing on other people. I don't like to point other people's flaws out, and I don't like to point out or try to tell on other people. The only time I do that is when people wrongfully attack me. And so for these people to sit up here, any of them, in any way, shape, or form, to try and point a finger at me when their house is so unclean, even if it looks pretty on the outside, their house is so filthy inside, in secret. You need to look at what you're doing before you focus on me and mine, because me and mine were doing just fine until the light was exposed on you and you were trying to make excuses to get out of taking responsibility for your behavior. I woke up a long time ago and decided I was not going to take these people's excuses anymore. And they retaliated against me and wrongfully persecuted me because of it. That should tell all of you something about how this group of people, not just them, but the people that some of them associate with, how they treat you. Remember now, I've got people here who are making promises to me and they're not following through. But then they get mad when I do the same to them. And I'm not mean about it. I just see that they do it. And so I don't follow through with what I told them I was going to do. I'm not supposed to. When you tell me you're going to do something and you don't follow through with it, I'm supposed to stand up for myself. And I'm supposed to do it respectably. The Bible says we're supposed to treat each person how they treat us. I don't do that because sometimes people treat me so inhumanely. I can't bring myself to treat them the way they treat me, because I'm better than that. My point here is this. Before you point a finger at me and talk about the splinter in my eye, make sure you're dealing with the log in yours. Because we all have things that are flaws in us. Don't point fingers at me when you're doing bad too. Because it just makes you look 100 times worse in the end. Especially when the only reason you're pointing fingers at me is to make excuses to get out of taking responsibility for you. With God's love, God bless America. Have a blessed day. And back the badge.